Hello, this is Melissa, the insurance exam queen. We're going to talk about out-of-state coverage on your auto policies through this video so we can help you pass your state exam with ease and confidence. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Also, drop a comment below what state you're in, what exam you're taking, so I can tell you what's important. And also check out my website, insuranceexamqueen.com, not only for free resources, but also paid for videos that will go the most in depth. YouTube is little bite-sized pieces. My class series are the bigger meals to help you be able to pass your exam. So out-of-state coverage. So what if we know that every state has their own state minimums? So that's actually a state regulations question. Who operates insurance? The state. It's not the president. It's not Congress. It's the state. So every state has their own limits for what they are willing to cover or not cover. So Arizona, for instance, and always double check your state approved text because these numbers can change. But currently, right now, the minimum Arizona is 1530.10. And this is for Part A liability. What this is saying is that if you crash into someone else and you cause them medical injuries, you have $50,000 per person to pay them for a total of $30,000 and $10,000 to fix their car. In Texas, they say you need 30, 60, 25, which is basically double what Arizona says. So you might get a question that says, what happens if you are in Arizona and you drive into Texas? What happens? First of all, nothing happens. If you're driving in Arizona and you drive into Texas and then you drive back, nothing happens. Nothing changes. There's no need for anything. But what if you crash? What if you crash? That's when things happen. So when you have an auto insurance policy, and let's say, so you're in Arizona and you're driving to Texas, nothing happens, you're driving in Texas, you're in Texas now. You're driving around in Texas, nothing happens. Crash. Then you crash. At the moment you crash, your 1530.10 will become 3060.25, but only if you crash. So this is super important because on the exam, they can ask you a question. You drove from Arizona to Texas. What happens? Nothing. You drove from Arizona to Texas and crashed your car into somebody. What happens? My limits increase. Your limits will only increase if you crash, if you have an accident. If you're driving around in Texas and nothing happens, your policy isn't going to automatically update. They may say, oh, as soon as you cross the border, your limits increase. No, they don't. You have to crash. You have to crash. There must be an accident for any changes to occur. So the rule is, as long as I carry my state minimum and I drive into another state, which has a higher state minimum, if I crash, my limit will automatically boost up. Okay. And it's going to boost up to whatever the state minimum is. If I drive into a state, and I don't know of any state that has this minimum, but if I drove into another state that had 100, 300, and I crash my car, my limit would increase to 100, 300 because that's the state minimum. So whatever minimum they have, if it's higher than mine will automatically jump to whatever that limit is if I crash. But if I don't crash, nothing happens. So then the question says, well, what if I'm Texas with 30, 60, 25, and I drive to Arizona? Again, nothing happens. If I were to crash, still nothing will happen. The reason nothing will happen is because I have a limit that is already higher than the state minimums. My policy will not lower. It will only go higher. So if I have 30, 60, 25 with my Texas car and I drive to Arizona and I crash, I will still have 30, 60, 25. It will not drop. So your policy will only go up if the state you're in and crash in has a higher limit, but it will not go down. So basically the rule of thumb is you get whatever is better. You're going to get whatever state minimum limit is better. So if you drive into it, you have a low state minimum limit, you drive into a state with a higher state minimum limit, nothing happens. But if I crash, it will go up. if I have a high limit and I drive into a state with a lower limit, nothing happens. And when I crash, nothing happens. It'll stay at the higher limit. I will never lose out on coverage. It will only boost up if it needs to. So that is out of state coverage for your car insurance. Again, we're talking about Part A coverage, money that pays out to other people if you're at fault in an accident. This is your insurance exam queen, sending you all the loves, all the vibes to pass the exam. Again, subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. Love you so much. Have an amazing day.